So, welcome back, everyone. This is the Raise the Red Tent, honoring the Divine Feminine online conference. And I think we're finally getting to the motion where I'm getting a little more comfortable with this process. I'm starting to remember I got to introduce my lovely presenters. So, Eartha Stone, I ran into her on Facebook. And one of my friends on Facebook said, I just had this very powerful reading from a woman here on Facebook, and I want to connect you. And I got a reading from her. It was very informative, very powerful too. So when I was thinking of people for this event, she just, again, her name just came up. And when I emailed her, she was like, yes. So Eartha, I'm very appreciative of you participating today. And maybe you just want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you even got into tarot.
Thank you, Kamara. I'm so blessed and grateful to be here and to be able to share some of my ideas. I've been a tarot reader. I've been reading the cards since I was a teenager, but I didn't really start studying with them and using them to break through creative blocks and working through it that way until my 30s. And so it's been about 12 years. I'm 42 now, so using the cards, they can really help to uncover um, deep patterns that are within ourselves. You'll start to see cards repeatedly turn up, and so it really gives you an opportunity to reflect on what's going on with you. And what I found is that when I was working with prosperity principles and the law of attraction, um, working with the tarot has been like, I don't think that I would have been able to get to where I'm at without using that tool. So um, very, very insightful tool. And I wish for everyone to be able to get an opportunity to learn how to use the tarot.
And I'm gonna, do you need me to stay on right here, or sometimes I cover myself up so people can focus on you? Is that gonna be okay?
Oh,
I'll still,
whatever
I'll
you
still
come.
be here. I'll still be here in spirit and in audio, so that you can move forward and do your presentation. And then I'll also, if you want to give me a moment if you have, because sometimes people are going to chat questions. So if you kind of just want to break every once in a while, and I'll let you know if there's, just say, are there any questions? And I can let you know, because I'm not sure if you're going to see them.
Okay. And
Okay.
I'm gonna need for you to come back on though later on whenever we get to it.
Oh yeah. I'm just right here. Like, I just cover up my little.
Okay.
Okay. So sorry about that little interruption, but yes. Okay. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay. I'm so grateful for everyone to join me today. And I want to share with you some ideas that I've learned from working with the law of attraction myself and working with my clients. And so the law of attraction has become very popular since The Secret was released in 2006. And although these principles were out, of course, before then, it really got a real good push from that book. But in spite of its popularities, there are a lot of people who haven't had any real results with it. And I believe the reason for that has to do with a lack of understanding about the process of manifestation. And so I'm going to share some basic law of attraction principles, and you may already know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to share this for those who haven't heard about it. And then I'm going to go into some of the most common reasons I've noticed that people aren't able to manifest their desires. It's going to take me a minute they didn't load these slides in order, so I'm going to take me a minute to get them up. And I hope you can see them. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, great. All right. So the law of attraction states that we attract to us the people and things that are in alignment with our energy. That like attract likes. Like. So if you don't like what you're attracting, you can change your personal vibration through the use of positive affirmation and visualization. And so using these tools consistently, you can turn your life around and, write a whole new check to the life that you desire. This is, okay, here we go. I wish I would have put this on a slideshow.
Yeah, you can take your time. I think that, yeah, they probably wouldn't order them. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't order them. Okay. So to be attractive simply means that you have a quality, some quality about you that draws things to you. So it's not necessarily what you're doing, it's who you are. And so attraction is this indescribable pull that you have towards someone or something. You may not be able to put your finger on it. And so attraction means that you're not struggling, you're not striving, you're not going forward to something. You're just being you, and things are being drawn to you. And so to illustrate that, magnets are a wonderful, wonderful demonstration of what attraction is. So magnets aren't doing any work. They aren't out there chasing down paper clips or, push pins. But when those objects get in contact nearby a magnet, they automatically are drawn and they jump on the magnet. And so there's no big effort on the part of the magnet. The magnet just is. And I love this quote from Florence Scovel Shinn. You never saw a worried or anxious magnet. It stands up straight and hasn't a care in the world, because it knows needles can't help jumping to it. The things we desire come to pass when we have taken the clutch off. And so taking the clutch off means taking off that anxiety, taking off that desire to strive or push for something. Whenever we can just relax and be in the moment and be who we are, then we're able to attract those things that are divinely ours. Here's 5. So the opposite of attracting is repelling. And so this is, you don't often hear about this law, repelling. So what happens? Repelling means that you're pushing things away from you, to drive away by force. And so when you're anxious or impatient, or you're repelling. Needy, desperate, overly intense energy pushes people away from what you want. And because those energetic states are focused on what you don't have. So if you're obsessive about trying to get a relationship or get this job, that intense energy actually pushes things away from you. And so you think of a stalker. No matter how much the person may, say, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, their energy is just way too intense, and it actually pushes away the thing that they're attracted to instead of drawing it to them. And what it is that the energy is focused on not having a thing. And so as long as you're focused on not having a thing, that's the condition that you're always going to attract. Remember that the universe is responding to our energy, not necessarily to our words. Our words can help shift our energy, but ultimately the universe is bringing to us or pushing away from us based on our energy. And so whenever you have that intense, needy, desperate energy, it feels like pressure to the other person. And so what you want to start thinking about is, what is your point of attraction? What is it that you are attracting? And let's see. Your point of attraction is always going to be clear by the state of your life. So how is your health? How are your relationships going? What are the conditions on your job? What's your money situation like? What is the condition of your life? Some clients I have will say, I always attract this type of person, or I always seem to get into these type of situations. Your repetitive issues always reveal your point of attraction. Your feelings of self-worth, the priority you place on your health and wellness, and the condition of your relationships are all clues to your point of attraction. So just by going through these few questions, you'll be able to tell where things are unbalanced in your energy. And from that information, you'll know what you need to do in order to get rightly aligned. And so if your job situation isn't where you want it to be, then you'll want to start creating affirmations and rituals to help you in that area. So look to where your life is unbalanced, and then start from there to determine how you're going to proceed. Okay, so how do you go ahead and change your point of attraction? So say you recognize where your life is unbalanced. How do you change that? So the most common things that people do are repeat positive affirmations. And so when we say we're doing affirmations, it means we're purposely making positive statements in order to bring about a change in our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual state of being. Our words are energy, and they are a creative force. When you put your emotional energy behind what you say, you create a powerful creative potential. So when you're crafting your affirmations, you want to make sure that you keep them in the positive present tense, like I have or I am. When you say I will have or I am going to, it puts your statement into the future. And so the universe is very literal. And so you will always be wanting to have. You will always be going to do something. And it puts what you want out of your reach. So you want to make sure that you keep your affirmations in a positive present tense. So another way to shift your point of attraction is to work with visualizations. And let's get that up here. Okay. So to visualize means you make a mental picture of what you desire. Visualization is a directed, purposeful daydreaming, and it should feel good. You don't want to force any picture, and this should be a very enjoyable process. So you want to be relaxed, take your time. It's a meditation. And also always remember that the universe isn't responding to these words and pictures that you've got going on in your head. The universe is responding to the energy that you're transmitting. And so the purpose of doing affirmations and doing visualizations is to immerse yourself in that process to get you to where you're feeling the energy of that affirmation, that you're feeling that you have this life that you desire, that you're trying to visualize. So visualization is a very favorite trick of athletes. And they'll sit and they'll daydream and think of themselves winning the race, and they're running the perfect race. And they concentrate on this thing from start to finish, from the time they're tying up their shoes to getting to the starting line and running the race into the end of the race. And when they will repeatedly repeat these pictures in their head, and talking with a lot of them, it normally works out in their favor. They normally are very successful using this process. And this is the same process that we can use in running the race of our lives. Now you can also use vision boards or mind movies and to help you out. Some of us aren't real good daydreamers, you know. Some of us aren't able to. It takes a lot of energy for us to put into our brain this picture. So you can use vision boards and mind movies to engage yourself more fully in that experience, to get yourself feeling like you're there. And that's the point, again, to be in the energetic state of what it is that you want to attract, and how do you feel there. Mind movies are they're similar to vision boards, and where you take the images that you would put on your vision board into video format. And I use mind movies often in my work, in my personal work and in my professional work. And if you can add some inspiring music or some upbeat music to get it going, you have a really powerful visioning tool. And you can upload it and watch it anywhere. And I've heard other teachers say that you should spend at least 8 minutes a day using the vision board and the mind movie. I do it personally for 10 minutes. And if you have a vision board, I have one above my vanity over here. And I take some time every time I pass by it to kind of focus in. But you should always have this meditative, reflective time, focused time where you do that. And also with your affirmations. 8 to 10 minutes where you're repeating your affirmations over and over again, and to be in the state of feeling the affirmation. And so the purpose of doing all of this work is to shift your energy and to bring you into alignment with the things that you want. And so when you decide that you're going to shift your point of attraction and you're consistently working with this, you'll start to notice things opening up for you. And I say that you're getting little green lights. You know, you'll get little confirmations along the way that tell you that you're heading in the right direction. And you'll know that your affirmations are working because you'll notice the shift in your own thinking. And so you'll start to live in the vibration of your visualizations and your affirmations. After a short period of time, other people will start to notice what's happening, and they'll start to say, you know, there's something different about you. You know, what are you doing? You look different. You may not have even lost any weight, and you may not have even done anything big time, but they can sense the shift in your energy. You want to also make sure that you continue to affirm and visualize going forward. A lifetime of negative thinking and bad visioning, and you know, thinking and being in a state of worry and anxiety is not easy to change. And when you get an opportunity and you notice that you have changed that, you want to continue going forward. So if you're just starting this process and you're 30 years old, you have to remember you have 30 years of thinking in the negative, or having these messages replaying in your head, and these images running through your head that have created the life that you have now. And so it may take some time. So whenever you get there, and most people that I know, once they get to a place and they notice that shift in their energy, they don't want to stop doing their affirmations. And so, and they don't want to stop visioning. They keep going further and further to make their life better and better. And so it's tempting to get to a place and get lazy with it, but you want to make sure that you're consistent in your practice. Okay, so you might be on here saying, you know, okay, well, I know all this, Eartha. I know all of this, and I'm still not getting any results. And so these are some of the most common things that I notice that people do wrong when they're working with the law of attraction, working through manifesting prosperity for their life. So the first one, talking too much. The process of manifestation is like pregnancy. So you get the seed or the idea and you let it develop. And the seed can only grow while it's protected. Exposing it too soon can cause all kinds of problems and actually can abort the process altogether. So when you're talking about, you're telling people about it, oh, I'm making more money. I'm living a fabulous life. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Understand that whenever you're in the process of change, and you'll notice this whenever you are trying to lose weight, or you want to do something on a practical level, that there are people out there who don't really want for you to change. There are some people who are even trying to undermine your progress. So you want to make sure that you're sharing your affirmations and this work only with people who will support and champion you. And sometimes that includes keeping this information close close to your chest. You may not even want to share it with your spouse, because your spouse may have this desire to keep you in a box. He may be very happy with the way the relationship is. And so to see you changing can cause some anxiety on his part. So you want to make sure you're keeping most of this to yourself. Between you and a close friend that you know who's going to support you, or between you and your therapist or your life coach, just keep things to yourself. Keep it under wraps for the time being. Okay, and the next one goes along with talking too much, lying. You know, there's this big thing out there with the law of attraction that people It's fake it till you make it, act as if. And so, I've noticed people will go and take pictures of themselves in front of somebody else's car. They'll take, they'll put on other people's clothes. They'll take pictures and they'll tweet and post out these pictures as if they're living this fantastic life that they're not really living. The idea of fake it till you make it or act as if refers to your inner attitude. So you want to carry yourself as if you're living that life. Inside, you want to carry yourself with confidence. You want to carry yourself with self-assurance. And when you are talking too much about what you're doing, oh, I'm living a fabulous life, I'm making more money, and people don't see it yet, it's very tempting to lie about it. Like, oh, yeah, I'm making this. Oh, look at this new watch I got, and it's your mother's watch. Or, look at this new car I'm driving, and it's your neighbor's car. So you want to, again, keep your whole process under wraps as much as possible. And act as if means that you treat your current car as you would the new car that you're trying to manifest. You take care of your current home with the same amount of care that you would take care of this new home that you're trying to manifest. It doesn't mean that you tell a bunch of lies and lead people to believe something about you that isn't true. A lack of integrity will always pull the rug from up under you. So if you keep it to yourself mostly, you don't have to explain anything to anybody, and you can sit and quietly wait for your next move. The next thing that trips people up is people rushing through their affirmations, and they'll say them by rote. I'm making more money. I'm making more money. I'm making more money. I'm making more money. And that isn't you're not exuding any energy. You're not putting forth any positive emotional energy to bring anything to you. Again, the universe responds to our energy, not just our words. So you should be like almost overly dramatic whenever you're saying your affirmations. You need to say them as if you're truly convinced of them. So for example, say, I always have more than enough money. All my bills are paid. All my needs are met. And everything I desire and require is on hand. I'm blessed and grateful. There's no energy behind that. You should be saying it like, I always have more than enough money. All my bills are paid, all my needs are met, and everything I desire and require is on hand. I am so blessed and grateful. And so you can tell the energetic difference between the two of those. So say your affirmations with convincing assuredness, that confidence, as if you're already there. No, you may not have it. But you have to get yourself into the energetic state of that you do have it. And the universe will bring to you those situations that will confirm that energy level. Another thing that gets people is crafting vague or general affirmations. And so, your mind needs a clear goal. The universe needs something clear to a target. And so if you say, I am bringing in more money this year, well, that's good. But it's better to say, I'm bringing in double the income that I made last year. You want to be very clear about how your wording is. Without being clear, more money can mean an extra dollar a quarter, or it can mean $1,000 more, but it's vague. You need something specific. What's your goal? What do you want? And when you get clear about the goal, you have increased your chances of achieving it. Another big problem people have is that they're inconsistent. They get excited, they find some affirmations, they do a vision board, and then get around to you doing it every once in a while. And, it's going to take a very long time for you to manifest anything like that. It's just like exercise. If you go to the gym once a week, you're not going to lose weight like that. You have to be consistent. You have to be diligent. It's impossible to change a lifetime of thinking by doing your affirmations every once in a while. You have to apply a positive affirmation every time you notice yourself thinking negative. So if you walk by a mirror and you say, I'm so fat, I need to lose 20 pounds. You need to say, hold up a second. I'm sexy and I know it. And keep it moving. You don't allow that thought to fly. You go in there and you smack it down with your positive affirmation. You have to do that until that affirmation becomes your dominant thought. You do that until your affirmation is, when you walk by the mirror, you say, "Hey, sexy, how you doing?" You know, if you use an affirmation once a day and revert to your regular thinking the rest of the day, you might as well not be even saying an affirmation at all. And because our negative affirmations are usually said with more energy and conviction, those are the ones that usually win out. So make sure that you're putting your energy and your thought into applying an affirmation every time you notice your negative thinking jumping to the forefront. In order to see your progress, you've got to be diligent. Success is a science. Prosperity is a planned result. It is not willy-nilly. It is not sometimey. It is not, I'll get to it. It is a planned result. The amount of effort you put into these methods will determine your success with them. People read these books and they, I'm going to pick out some affirmations. I'm going to do a vision board, and it seems so simple. And it is. But you have to do the work. You have to put forth the energy and the effort in order to see the results that you're desiring. And all right, giving up before manifestation. This is a difficult one. When you're trying to change your point of attraction, some people go through a really challenging time. Now, this isn't everybody, but a lot of people go through this time. And what the old New Thought teachers taught, Catherine Ponder, Florence Scovel Shinn, Joseph Murphy, they called this process the process of chemicalization. And so you may lose a job, you may lose a relationship, you may have to move. And for some people, including myself, old illnesses will flare up for you. And life will feel like you will feel like you are going through hell. You will feel like this isn't what I signed up for. And so it can be very dramatic. And I want to point this out because a lot of people get stuck here. And if you're just reading The Secret and you're reading the newer modern authors, they don't talk about it. If you started doing your affirmations and your visualizations and your vision boards and you're doing everything like I said, and you feel like you just opened the gates to hell, you're going through a process of chemicalization. And it's like a detox. It's just like whenever you go through when you're trying to detox your body, or you're fasting, your body goes through these changes. Well, your mind does the same thing. And so, let me see. Your old nature, what happens is your old nature comes up and tries to push out the new thoughts that you're thinking. Your old ego issues are going to pop up and say, you're not successful, you don't deserve it, you don't have this. And if you continue to apply the affirmations and keep going through it, your body may actually go through physical changes, or your relationships will go through actual changes. And some people give up at that time. When it gets too strong, they can give up and not realize that if you walk through that difficult time, your big manifestation is right on the other side of that. And so this is what some of the ancients called the valley of the shadow of death. This is the time whenever you are really challenged. Are you in this thing to win it? Are you prepared to go forward with this thing? Are you ready for it? And I've gotten to this place myself a couple of times, twice at least, and turned back because things just seem to be falling apart. And so this is a very real process, and it's frustrating for people who are doing the work, who are actually doing the work, and they really don't have anybody to talk to about it. They don't understand what's happening, and it can cause you to terminate all the work and all the stuff that you've done up until this point. If you find that you're going through that, you need support. You need help. You need to understand what you're going through, and you need somebody that's going to be able to help guide you and hold your hand through that process.
Eartha, I just wanted to say that what you just said completely touched me, because I feel like there's been moments where I've had that situation happen and just didn't recognize that that was what was going on, you know? And then you start to not trust yourself anymore, because you're like, oh, did I make the right decision in affirming I wanted to go this direction? And then all of a sudden things are falling apart. So, I know that we have some other questions for you, but I'll let you finish. But I just wanted to say in that moment that, yeah, that struck me, that I think that's where a lot of people kind of fall off, you know, because they think, oh, I'm being silly or unrealistic or whatever.
Right. And I have been reading a lot of books about this thing, and I didn't hear about it until I started reading Catherine Ponder's book, and she talks about this, and a whole light bulb went off in my head. Wait a minute, this is what's happening. And a lot of people get to that place. I have a client who was considering suicide because everything, she lost her husband, lost a job, and like, what is going on? She's on more steady ground now, but it can be devastating.
Mm.
Okay, so, this last one are core issues that I'm going to talk about. Now, the this is where the tarot, I found that the tarot has been most helpful for me. Carl Jung said, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our life, and we will call it fate. Until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our life, and we will call it fate. Our core issues can be a big reason why we don't see results. Feelings of inadequacy, low self-worth, the inability to set boundaries, lack of discipline, or even a rebellious spirit can hold back your good indefinitely. You may have core issues that are driving your experience that you're completely unaware of. And you can sort it out on your own, you know, and you can do that by looking at your repetitive patterns. Are you always involved with people who take advantage of you? So you want to look at where you're not setting boundaries, or where you don't value your own time and energy and your own space. Um, the type of people that you attract, the situations that you always find yourself in. You know, there are people who are, they always get their car broken into, or they seem to be victim of a mugging, you know, every year. You know, there's something that always repeats. If you notice that in your life, you can start to work around that, start making affirmations around that, and to help guide yourself through that process. And if you suspect that there's something going on deeper and you're not sure what it is, maybe something going on with parental issues. A lot of these issues are generational. Um, it's time to seek out help with your therapist or with a spiritual life coach that can give you an objective overview of what's going on with you. Um, and I wanted to say something else about that, uh, of the generational issues. Um, a big one that may be able to help somebody here is resentment and forgiveness. This was, I couldn't manifest anything. I wasn't able to flow in anything until I gave up um, blaming my parents for a difficult childhood, for the kids at school who may not have accepted me, for, you know, ex-husband, for, you know, old friends, all this other stuff. You have to really get into forgiving people. And the process of forgiveness isn't that you go back and you make all these amends and you try to, you know, reestablish the relationship. To forgive means to let it go. I think Oprah said that it's giving up the idea that the past could have been any different. And I love the way she said that. You let it go. You know what? No, they didn't treat me right. That's okay. God bless them. Resentment is another one. So when you're sitting around thinking, well, I didn't know any better. You know, if I would have known better, I would have chosen better. You know, and then you're resentful at life or at God for having the life that you have. You have to start getting into gratitude, you know, resentment, gratitude, forgive, to let it go. You can't manifest or draw anything to you other than what you're transmitting. And so if your core issue is being resentful, you're going to attract more situations in order to resent. But like I said, that's something that that you can work through. You can go through forgiveness work by yourself. It's always helpful to have somebody else to be able to bounce that information off of, a therapist or your spiritual life coach or counselor, or even a friend that's well versed in what's going on with you. And so a little bit about me. You know, I'm a spiritual life coach, and it's my intention to help you uncover, to recognize, and support you in resolving those types of issues. I use the tarot, numerology, and your birth chart to help identify the places where you get stuck and the places where you're strong. And with these tools, I'm able to offer you insight and encouragement to get you rightly aligned and back on purpose. I'm also your champion, and I'm here to remind you of why you started this process when you get to a place where you feel like giving up. Some of the parts of this process are really challenging, and they don't talk to you about it in these books. They almost make it sound like it's abracadabra, you know, it's just magic. And for some people, it works that way. And for others, we got layers and layers of issues to get to in order to get there. You know, take the difference between someone who was orphaned and grew up in the system and didn't get any messages other than they weren't worthy, compared to somebody who grew up in a two-parent household who were always loving and all this other stuff. Their paths are going to be completely different. The person who is orphaned is going to have a much more difficult time getting to that place of prosperity because they weren't given those messages initially. Now, what I will say is the one who had the harder childhood will have the greater manifestation. They'll have the greater level of success because they have to go really deep in order to get there. But in order to get there, you need support. I like to only work with people who are doing the work. I'm an old Army girl. I'm all about procedure. I'm all about process. And I'm concerned with results. I'm concerned with you seeing actual real world results. You being able to change your mind and tell me what I want to hear is not going to cut it. I like to see results because that's what's going to encourage you to continue to go forward. I'm very deeply invested in my work. I want you to proceed. I want to see your progress. And I put a lot of heart energy into what I'm doing. So I need to know that the person that I'm working with is more committed to the process than even me. And so I want to say that if you think you're ready for a spiritual life coach and feel that you and I would make a good team, you can go to my website, and on the right-hand side, there's an interest form. So fill that out, and it'll send me an email. And I'll run the card to see if we make a good match. I don't take every request for a reading or every request for life coaching, because there has to be an energetic rapport between the two of us in order for this thing to work. And when it does work, it is fantastic. It is phenomenal, the changes that will be made. You know, sometimes you're just this far off and you can't see it, and you just need someone to put you back into alignment, and life will take off just like that. So if you send if you fill out the interest form and the cards come back positively, I'll be in touch and, you know, talk to you about my rates and availability, and we can proceed from there. Now, this interest form that I put up there, it's only going to be available until March the 23rd, just for a week for the people who are on this call. And if you sign up and everything goes forward, I'll take $35 off the initial assessment. I have an assessment that I do beforehand, before we get into the coaching, and we do a reading and get together and see what your goals are. And that takes a little bit more time because I have to run your cards, run your numbers, look at your chart and all of that other stuff. So I'll take all of that off, discount all of that, and we can just start right into my normal hourly rate. In addition to that, I have resources available online, and I'm going to get into that real quick. Okay, so if you want examples of well-crafted affirmations, you can join my Catherine Ponder and Florence Scovel Shinn fan pages. They are biblically based, but you can, of course, change, if you want to change Jesus into source, or source, or the universe, or whatever, free to do that. But know that that's the way you should craft your affirmations. It should sound similar to that. I post affirmations and quotes on there every weekday, and I strongly recommend you picking up their books. And Florence Scovel Shinn's book, her entire works are online. They're a public domain, so you can just type that in. I think it's sacredtext.com, that you can go and find all her completed works. And if you can't find it, just shoot me an email, reach out to me, and I'll pass that along to you. I also run a prosperity group, support group, to talk about the very things that we just talked, that those blocks that keep us, especially the process of chemicalization. Because once I started really working with clients, I noticed that that was a big, big issue. The Open Your Mind to Prosperity groups on Facebook. It's a law of attraction support group, and we share affirmations, our testimonials, challenges, and our success. We also, right now, we have a book study. I'm doing a book study on Open Your Mind to Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. We just finished chapter 1, going into chapter 2 tomorrow. We also have affirmative prayer support, and a daily conference call is every morning with one of our members to support you in living your best life. I'm also a co-admin of a non-denominational prayer group, Saints, Angels, and Spirits. It's an online prayer group, and we celebrate and practice the art of prayer, the rituals. We share our altars. We talk about saints, our angels, our spirit guides. We have people from all walks of life in there. We have Wiccans, witches, Muslims, wizards, Christians, Catholics, Muslims, Jewish. Everybody's in there, and everybody's sharing their information. It's a beautiful place to be. So it's a very eclectic group. So if you have any, want to join any of those things, I'm about to put up a slide that has all of my contact information on there. Great. And so that you can see where I am. Connect with me online. On Facebook, I'm very active on Facebook and Twitter. And so if you have any questions about what I've just put out there, feel free to join any of these groups and reach out to me.
And Eartha, thank you so much. There's a few questions, and I think you may have answered the one that came first, which was, do you recommend creating your own affirmations versus using other people's affirmations? Do you want to speak more on that?
Yes, absolutely. Florence Scovel Shinn talks about your affirmations. You should have affirmations that click. And the best way to do that is to craft them yourself. I think that you should make your own affirmation. I think everybody should make their own affirmations. Sometimes people don't feel that they're creative and feel that other people's affirmations work, but your own work. And it's just like anybody who's working with hoodoo or roots. You can hire a worker to work for you. It's going to be much more powerful and more effective when you do it yourself. Absolutely.
And thank you for that answer. And someone else is saying your list previously on that other slide was very helpful to them, and I found it helpful as well. One other question was unconscious to conscious. When did your shift take place, and at what point in your life?
Unconscious to conscious. When I got out of the military, and that was 1999. I was kind of living life, just going through the motions. And then the transition from military to civilian, I wasn't prepared for. Before then I was, taken care of by my family. And then, I lived a little bit on my own. But then I joined the military and everything was taken care of for me. When I got out of the military, me and my children were homeless. And so there was, I didn't, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any choice but to become aware of what was going on around me. And that was a hard process to go through. A lot of things had to be resolved. Forgiveness. I was resentful that I wasn't taught certain things. I got a divorce. You know, it was dramatic. It was a really dramatic process. And I hit that same situation again, unconscious to conscious. I had a back injury that kept me in the bed for 3 months. Couldn't really get around. And I was in my 30s. I had this back injury when I was 19. So when I'm saying things will come up from the past, but it had to do with feelings of value, feeling of support, and me not being in a place where, although my bills were being taken care of, I wasn't supportive of myself. I didn't feel that the people around me were supportive of me. So I had this real victim type of thing, like, oh, nobody cares for me, nobody's going to take care of me. And I had to go through a physical process of, you know, becoming more flexible in my thinking and in my body, becoming stronger in my thinking and in my body. Um, it can be a very dramatic process.
Mm, wow. Yeah. And I think you have your slide up now with all that information. And yeah, that's very powerful. I think I had another, while you were talking, I had something in mind that I wanted to ask you about as well. Oh, you were talking about, I had heard a long time ago, and I don't know if this is true, I just guess it is because I've repeated it so often, that if you hear something like over, I think it's 200 times, it really, your consciousness begins to accept it. Have you heard something like that before? So I was all like, you know, if we really want to change our consciousness, maybe this is like a simplistic question, but how often do we really need to affirm that thing, you
You
know, to
need
really, you know, be
you need
there?
you need to affirm it until you believe it. And
Okay.
that, and you know, some people say it takes 21 days to change a habit or all of that other stuff. You can throw that out the window because when you have a core issue that continually tells you that you not something, you can say it a million times and it's not going to click. You have to clear up those core issues. You have to clear up those undercover things in order for that thing to click. I've done affirmations and kept on talking. It was past 40 days and fell right back into the same type of situation. So you have to do the work. You know, this is, like I was saying, it's a science. It's a planned result. You have to do the work.
Yeah. And I mean, you're getting a lot of love here on the chat. Someone says, "Wow, Eartha, you've surrounded yourself with healing, and I admire your work, and I'm proud that you are a world server."
Thank you.
And someone else wants to know about. I think, well, they said here they want to know the days and times of your tarot blog, but maybe that's your tarot show.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I forgot about that. I do free readings. I don't do fortune telling readings in my private practice, but I run a radio show, a TV show. Hey, never
hey, I
know.
know that's an idea. It just came up.
Just came up. I run on Blog Talk Radio, the Queen of Cards, and so I do free readings on there just about every Friday. And if you call in, I will say this, and I'm so blessed that I have the opportunity to serve in that way, because by the time I get on the air at 8 o'clock on Friday night, I usually have 6 or 7 people already been waiting in line to
Mm,
get on there. So if you want to get on there, you have to call early. So I'm very fortunate to have such a loyal listenership there. But it's fun. I play music mainly from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, old school R&B, you know, good stuff. Some people listen to it just for the music. So it's fun.
you're a DJ too, so it's just like, yeah. uh, and just more affirmations. People are really giving thanks for this knowledge, and that you're just on fire, you're on point with all this. And I think that's what it is. It's like, people, we can watch The Secret and we can get the whole Hollywood thing, but then you really need the down to earth basics of like what really is manifestation, how do you make it happen, you
Right.
know
And I
so
was concerned about doing it in this format because I know that you've heard all of this stuff before. But the thing is that like you said, they give you this Hollywood glossy version of people who are already famous and successful, you got to get down to the nitty gritty on some certain things. People are going through some real situations, and to hear, oh, we'll just affirm it, just sounds like fluff, And it's just like, no, it's not that easy. Yes, it is that easy, but there's more to the process there. I want to mention real quick before I go, for those who are card readers, and give you a real easy spread that you can use to help you reflect on what your issue may be and how you can work through it. And so I've got this little card spread. So the middle card you're going to pick out, if you have tarot cards or even oracle cards, whatever kind that you work with. You can even use runes. The middle card, where you want to be, that's the card that you're going to pick out on your own. And so I may pick out, hey, you know what? I want to be happy. I'm going to pick out this 9 of Cups. So I'll pick that, and I'm going to stick that in the middle. The other 2 cards you're going to pick without looking at them. You're going to pick them blind. And so you're going to lay out your cards and say, where are you? So you can get a very objective idea of where you are. Because you may feel like, yeah, you're doing good and all this other stuff, and there may be some type of issue going on with you. So pick that card blind. And how do you get there? The other card, you pick that one blind too. And so all of these cards are important. All of these cards are going to, so all 3 of these cards, you'll want to sit and reflect on. Don't just write them down and go on about your business. Leave them out. Let those images get into your subconscious mind. Let them stay out at least 3 days so that your subconscious and your spirits and your angels can start to reveal to you information. If you do this and you focus on it, you don't have to stay even there for 3 minutes, but just look at them every day with focus. You'll start to see things in your life. You'll hear messages on the radio. You'll overhear conversations. You'll turn on the TV. And, it's a magical process. And you'll start to get some ideas on how you can move forward, what's going on, and how you can clear up what it is that what you're dealing with.
That's very helpful. Someone asked, is there an order in which to pick them? Maybe you've already answered that. I think you said to pick the 2 on the outside blindly.
Right. So you'll want to go through your tarot deck or whatever card deck you're using and choose the image that feels where you want to be, feels like where you want to be. You want to do that first. Because with my work, I find where people get mixed up is that they are not clear about what they want. So get clear. Where do you want to be? I may choose the 9 of Cups. You may choose the 10 of Pentacles. You may choose whatever. You may even want to break up your relationship and pick the 5 of Swords. If that's where you want to go, you got to be very clear. So pick the where you want to be card out deliberately, and then choose the where you are and how do you get there. So it's where you are first, and then how do you get there second.
Wow. Okay. Great. And I think that. And your show, can you just affirm what the name of the show is, the radio show? I thought it was the Queen of Cards. Yeah.
Yeah. It's www.blogtalkradio.com/Eartha Stone. The name of the show is called The Queen of Cards.
I'm having that up. And you said Eartha Stone?
Yes.
But the name of the show is?
The Queen of Cards, yes. Yeah. And normally on Friday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other comments? This was great. I mean, I think we all got clear, and and now you know that you can get even more clear by working with Eartha. And I think it helps because sometimes for me at least, I like to know that the practitioners I'm working with have also done their own work and have a certain mindset, because people can be powerful in a lot of different ways. We all have our own unique talents, But I like to know that I have a shared mindset with someone when we're getting ready to have a reading, you know, so that you know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a lot of love for being specific about all your work and what it all entails. So thank you so much, Eartha.
Thank you. And I felt I'm so blessed to be here in the energy of all of these wonderful women, and they had so much esoteric knowledge and energy to share. And I'm such a practical, down to earth, less results driven person. So I'm very blessed that you invited me to join. And I'd like to do a quick prayer before we
Yes,
go.
definitely.
So I want to thank you all for your time and attention, and may you be firmly held, gently guided, fully protected, and clearly directed. And may the mother of us all hold you in her warm embrace and keep you surrounded in her grace, now and always. Amen.
Ashe, amen.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Eartha. And it is a blessing and an honor to have you here. So thank you.